The river swelled up. Water was backfed through every ditch and culvert. Believe it or not, for probably about a mile and a half. So that just shows you, yeah, really close to 2 miles. So this farm took on water, and everything from here to the river. Now this right here, that's that man-made lake that you've seen us working on. We did a lot of videos. If you want to go back in the French Drain Man playlist, you can see how to dig a pond. So we did an elevated road here so that you could drive around the farm. And by creating a high and dry driveway, we're able to keep the water out. Now this farm, it retains its own water in conditions like this. There's detention ponds, and you got the man-made lake here, and a 4-acre pond as well. So when the water does finally recede, there's check valves on all this. I mean, this has all been engineered. Not that the engineers got anything right. Matter of fact, they got it wrong. Not once, but they had a few chances at it, and they just kept miscalculating. So once the prints were thrown aside, I just basically walked the property and took notes, could see what was going on. You can't beat the surveillance of a drone, and it really helps to walk property so that you can see. So this farm's underwater, that farm's underwater. Look at that. It's all from the river. So I like to walk the perimeter because I want to know how close the water came to breaching this farm. This time we won. Water did not. But I'm nobody's fool. I know that if this was a 100-year flood, there's areas that I have to improve on this farm to protect it from just completely flooding and being underwater. That's the way it used to be. This farm would be underwater. Completely, 100%. Just a couple little bumps that you could see from the highest elevation points. I've seen it. It was years ago. I was younger. We didn't have drones, nor could we afford to pay somebody to fly us. All we could do was hike. So probably this is the area that it's the deepest. I mean, there's a lot of water on this farm. You know, that farm's just plain underwater. You got 18 inches of water here. This right here, I'm gonna definitely add some dirt here. That's fine. We go up. When we were pushing this with a dozer, this was stupid low. I mean, we obviously have things in the, you know, we're going in the right direction. We're going in the right direction for sure. Like I said, we won this one, but I'm nobody's fool. We're gonna throw more at it. It's not done yet, not in my mind, but close. The heavy lifting has been done. So the elevation's getting better. You know, we start coming up here. See, water just seeks level, so we know the water line is level. Yeah, see, 1, 2, 3. So between 2 and 3, the T-posts, that needs to be elevated. That needs to be elevated, and I'll mark that as a location that we need to add some dirt to. Tell you what, when you have flat land, like we have on Michigan, on the east side of Michigan, you run out of dirt so fast. There's no such thing as too much dirt. So when you create your detention pond, do it smart. You don't want a long haul route. Just like when I flew the drone over this, you can see how the detention pond was dug, and then there's that berm with the spruce trees that I walked through and flew the drone over. So there really wasn't a haul route. You could just take the track hoe, swing the dirt over, pile it up, doze it out. Work smarter, not harder. All right, so that's a few 100-acre farm that's just underwater. And if this was summer and that happened, the crop would be lost. All right, so when I flew the drone, I seen this. It's my second time to walk through it. I walked through it, then I flew the drone. Now I'm on the ground again. I know that I'm looking to put a little bit of dirt here, you know, because we got a bunch of compressed weeds. So there's nothing really here to speak of. I mean, if it was worse, it would have came in right here. There's no doubt in my mind. That's part of the detention pond. The detention pond runs up to the main road there. There's a man-made lake. So it looks like I have to manufacture some more dirt. I think I'll just make this detention pond a little bit bigger, pile it up here, work smarter. Moving dirt can be stupid expensive, like the kind of money where it doesn't even make sense. So you got to be smart about it. Yeah, look at that. Water's right up to here. Just need to build this up. This part will be really easy. Just swing the dirt. Now this is like a road, so it's super cool. You know, we'll get it obviously elevated a little bit more. All right, so the detention pond is much lower than the river. This is at the river height right now. You know, all the back feeding through all the ditches and culverts. I mean, it took all night to do this. I mean, this is like once a storm stops, it takes 12 hours for everything to back feed. It swells up. It's pretty crazy. You know, see here again, this is getting ready to breach this road. There's the detention pond. Detention pond's going to get deeper and a little wider because I'm going to be pulling dirt. Bring some heavy equipment in one more time. But I like where we're at, that's for sure. Again, this is the worst flood event since I started to work this property. It was 2009. We got 8 inches of rain in 36 hours. It was worse than this. Much worse than this. I would have lost. Let's just put it to you that way. So, we know the areas that we got to improve on. I just want to add some more strength to the armor on the boundaries of this property. And you could work small properties the same way. There's so many different things that you can do when it comes to, you know, diverting the water. You know, you got certain decisions to make. Where to divert the water to? Is it going to directly affect a neighbor? If so, maybe you're better just taking the responsibility of putting in a big sump pump system and just getting it where it needs to go. All right, guys. Until the next video. By now, you're probably getting familiar with the farm. You're starting to understand where we're at on the property. So I just want to go through everything one more time. I want everybody to understand how this detention pond that is normally dry is swelled up with water right now, and it'll slowly let that water back in to the ditch once the river lowers and then the ditch level lowers. Water does seek level. However, the water is higher on the outside of this farm than it is on the inside right now. There's a big difference, really big difference. So there's that green belt with the spruce trees. We've taken you by the man bridge right there. You can see the little walking bridge so that you're familiar, that gray pole barn that you've seen when I'm on the ground walking. I walked through all those spruce trees, took you guys to the, basically out in the field. I showed you what you have to do. You literally got to put boots on the ground. I walked you through it. I literally talked out loud so that you guys can understand how I go about systematically finding areas on properties that I need to improve for drainage and for keeping water out. It's almost as important, keeping the water out. If you can keep the water out, then you never have to deal with floodwaters, period. Now, everyone's trying to dry up their yard, and they follow our instructions with all of our drainage systems that we have to offer. So that's a little bit different too. That goes into play. We've done swales, we've graded, we've worked this ground so that it does drain properly. And you can see where there's some areas that are ditch and retainment, detention ponds. Retention ponds too, that one large pond that always has water. Now look, you see how dry the farm is that we've been working on, and you can see to the right how there's all that water. Okay, so here's our detention pond. There's that little landscape treatment with the spruce trees, little bermed in area, and look at all that flood water, all that land, thousands of acres flooded. That's why I call that river a sleeping giant, because if you didn't have a road or a berm for landscape treatment, I actually want to add dirt right there. It looked a little lean, but here's the road. Look at this beautiful road that we put in. That's a primary use, 365 days out of the year. This is a road to get around the farm. And then it's secondary purpose, it's keeping the water out. There's a fantastic byproduct when you do these landscape treatments and you put in these roads. Look at all that flooded property. That's unbelievable. Just thousands of acres flooded, but not to the right. That farm's on the right of those spruce trees. We kept it dry. So a lot of hard work for sure, but I walk small suburban lots the same way. Sure, this is going to take more time, and I can't just get out my laser level and start, getting elevation readings. I literally need a flood event to get 100 acres, a really good bead on, where everything is at elevation-wise. But when I walk into people's backyards, I just systematically go through it. I see where the water's coming in at. There's that berm where we dredge that pond so that when the water jumps the road and it runs through that woods, it doesn't flood the farm over here. And it looks great too. It's beautiful. Nobody sees that you're deliberately trying to keep water out. And it wasn't the primary purpose. We got a beautiful berm, got a wonderful road that gets used daily. Secondary, it's helping with the floodwaters.